Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Directors, Lone Star Sports and Entertainment, ESPN, and AdvoCare, it's my sincere honor to introduce and welcome the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the LSU Tigers to the 2015 V100 Texas Bowl. For many of us who have been associated with this bowl for over a decade, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years since we started this tradition. We're proud to have the lineup of the Big 12 and the SEC here in our city of Houston for the 10th anniversary of this game. The excitement around the possibility of the two teams from these two power conferences has led to over 55,000 tickets being sold before the teams were even announced, which means we're well on our way to our second consecutive sellout. This game has been and will continue to be one of the most highly attended college bowl games in the country. When you have the privilege to host a college football game like this in Houston, it has a tremendous economic impact on our community. The hotels, restaurants, and bars will be full of fans during the game week, and with that, we expect an economic impact of close to $50 million for the greater Houston area. Equally important is our local charity partner, DePelchin Children's Center. We have had a tremendous fundraising success around this game on behalf of DePelchin. And this year, in our 10th year, we will exceed $1 million in total contributions to DePelchin. So they say the third time is the charm. LSU and Texas Tech have only met twice before on the gridiron, and that was back in the 1950s. A lot's changed since then, except the passion that these universities have for the football teams. The Red Raiders come to us this season with a 7-5 record, having completed the third season behind Coach Kliff Kingsbury, who, as we all know, quarterbacked there and graduated in 2001 and took over as head coach in 2013. The Red Raiders are no stranger to this bowl game. In 2012, they beat Minnesota here in the Texas Bowl. And in addition to just having a knack for winning bowl games, Texas Tech seems to set records when they attend bowl games. They've set attendance records at 10 different bowl games. Turning to the LSU Tigers, this will be their first appearance in the AdvoCare V100 Texas Bowl. But they've been here at NRG Stadium twice now in the last 2 years, having beaten Wisconsin in our 2014 AdvoCare Texas kickoff. The Tigers finished this season at an 8-3 record behind Coach Les Miles, who's been their head coach since 2005 and led them to a postseason bowl in each of his seasons. The Tigers have also played in 46 total bowl games as a university, which puts them 11th on the all-time list for college football. And they finished this season ranked 20th in the college football playoff rankings. When you add all that up, what you get is the NCAA's second-ranked offense in Texas Tech against one of the country's best defenses in LSU, featuring a game with the country's top-rated passing quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, as well as the country's leading rusher in Leonard Fournette. So with that, it's my privilege to introduce to you Kliff Kingsbury and Les Miles and reiterate how happy we are to have both Texas Tech and LSU here in Houston and officially say, welcome. Thank you.
For each of you guys, how would you say your team grew just as a unit throughout the season? Kliff, we can start with you.
Yeah, I think for us, I felt like we started the season fairly strong, 3-0 non-conference, played Baylor and TCU going into conference when they were hot and playing very well, and then battled through. But by the end, I think the last 2 games played our best football and felt like that's what we wanted to do and have a month to continue to try and get better and play one of the best teams that we will play it all year. So I like where we're at, but know that it's a big challenge ahead of us.
Yeah, we're a team that has some youth, and we started a couple young freshmen in the offensive line. I felt like they developed all year long. I think it's an interesting thing. We've lost some guys at midstream, and we're 7-0 and really in pretty good position. And we're find ourselves starting guys in key contests that really just didn't have a lot of experience. And the good news is they've grown up. You know, they may have been playing as freshmen then, but they're certainly sophomores or juniors today, and we feel like we're in position as well to play our best football.
For each of you, what's the benefit of playing in a bowl game or a regular season neutral site game in this city?
I'll take that. We recruit here. I have to be very honest with you. I got off the plane today and realized it was a press conference. I knew I was going to go recruiting here. That happens after we leave. We have a tremendous fan base here. I can't tell you how many energy, petroleum industry executives that LSU has right here in Houston. And you know, our not only our fan base, but we draw a lot of students from Houston. So this will be a very nice trip for us. We certainly the venue, the NRG Stadium, the AdvoCare Texas Bowl is exactly the style of bowl that we would want to be in. This is you know, right directly in the mainstream of our recruiting and fan base and the population that comes to our school. So we're thrilled, have been here before, recognize the hospitality that Chris Hanslick and that staff will you know, be a part of. We're excited, and this is a tremendous opponent, talented football team, second in the nation offensively, and just you know, talented quarterback, great running back, and you know, defense that plays very sound, over the top, and so it's, you know, we recognize, you know, really in short order that Coach Kingsbury's done a great job, and we're going to have to play well.
Yeah, very similar. Incredible recruiting base here, as well as huge alumni base. To play a top 20 team from the SEC, a premier program like LSU has been under Coach Miles, it's a huge honor for us and a huge challenge.
Every coach says that they relish these bowl practices, these extra practices. You guys haven't been coaches in several bowls. What's the one thing you guys kind of take away from these extra practices over the years for these guys?
For us, just like any other college, I think your young guys that have redshirted, that have really been doing scout team type duties and repping other people's plays, now you get to coach them. Now you get to get them started moving into spring football with your terminology, how you coach, how you work. So those are invaluable practices, and having not gone to a bowl game last year, it's huge for us to get back, get our young guys developed, and continue to move them forward.
Yeah, the opportunity to practice some of those guys in what we call a young guys go, and you know, where they can line up against each other and get after it and run our plays, just puts them in great position for. If you look at spring ball's 15 practices, and you know, you're basically, you know, you're not quite 15 practices here, but very close, and so it's an added spring, and it's very important to us, and we're fortunate to have the ability to be there annually.
You all kind of touched upon recruiting earlier. How much can having a bowl game in such a fertile recruiting ground, how much can that do for both y'all's programs?
Well, it's not a place you can't. We won't leave the stadium and go into somebody's home because it'll be a dead period. Okay, but so it'll be followed by local media, and it will be followed. Certainly, I would not be surprised that just, you know, some guys got tickets and came to the game, and but it's you know, certainly we feel like this information disseminates quickest from Houston.
But I guess as far as, you know, them getting a firsthand experience, firsthand look at you guys.
Yeah, they'll have to get to the stadium themselves. It's not we're not allowed to provide tickets, and we don't. And but It's more the perimeter, the day in and day out press coverage of the event really kind of saturates Houston and allows us to be really on the tips of people's tongues a ton.
Gentlemen, the high school championship games are here next weekend. Keeping in mind that the term spread offense is considerably more ubiquitous than was the wishbone or was the veer. Is the spread now a more dominant offense in Texas college football than was the wishbone or was the veer during the times that they were prevalent? And if so, how does that affect the variety of players and the style in which Texas schools that recruit Texas have to play offense to recruit these players?
I don't know much about the veer or wishbone, so I'll let you take that. For my time.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's the advantage of youth. I'm a little young for some of those. I can tell you this, that there's a lot of similarities. It's an option. You know, this quarterback has an opportunity to read a down lineman and not block him and run an option. And I think, obviously, Coach Kingsbury played in a prolific passing attack. And I think that comes along with a spread piece. And there's some traditionalists that would certainly want to cry if they said, you know, wishbone and you know, some of these traditional ways of attacking. But yes, I think by far and away the spread is overtaken. I think it's certainly the trend in high school, college. You know, it's not gotten to the NFL often. You look on an NFL game and occasionally it'll get there, but it's not gotten there often.
But Kliff, as you look at film, you see anybody else running? As you look at film, do you see anybody running anything except the spread? Really, as you look at film from recruits these days.
In high school football, not a lot. Not a lot. I think that's with the prevalence of 7-on-7, particularly in our state. That's where teams are going. It gives you all those extra practices throughout the summer to throw and get good at it. So, yeah, I don't see much on the recruiting tape I see of anything other than true spread.
I can tell you this, that we just occasionally look for a big, strong blocking back, and you don't find them. I mean, you have to go find and make that guy. It's an undersized tight end. It's an H-back. It's got physicality. I mean, the fullback position. It's not even in the. It's not even in our conference as an all-conference position. Is it in yours?
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Well, this also affects the business in terms of the type of athlete you now need to have to play defensive line and linebackers specifically to face that sort of offense, does it not?
Yeah, I think, you know, the D-line that Coach Miles has can face any offense from what I've seen. But, you know, I think more than anything, during weeks of practice or training camp, and he knows this, going against a tempo spread, the conditioning comes into play, and having enough bodies to rotate guys through is more important than it ever has been, because you can't leave guys out there 6-7 plays where teams are tempoing and playing fast. And so having depth at that defensive line position is more crucial than it ever has been in college football.